What's the most important thing to catch more striped bass on the fly rod? Hi, this is Ted from flyrodstripedbass.com. Here to tell you how to catch more fish on the fly, more stripers. Well, the most important thing is, other than going fishing, getting your fly in front of the fish. Now, I'm not going to cover the basics like make sure you're fishing in the water. It's the right season. If you're fly fishing for stripers in Maine in January, although I've done it, you're not going to catch any. The most important thing is getting your fly in front of the fish. That means getting your fly to the same depth the fish is at, if you want to catch it. Now, you might be fishing a big bulky fly. Here's a big lefty's deceiver. Big white one, I love this fly. And it's going to float pretty high, particularly if you got a normal floating or an intermediate line on. And maybe, just maybe, a striped bass will come up from 20 feet to hit it, from 20 feet down. But usually, your striper is just not going to go out of its way to eat. You can even have a feeding frenzy going on. And a fly a foot high, maybe even 6 inches too high, will be ignored even when there's a feeding frenzy. I've seen it over and over, and so have others. So, if you want to catch more fish, how do you get your fly deeper so you get it in front of the fish? Because they're not always on top. I'm going to cover some really simple techniques. First of all, I always carry at least 2 fly lines. Usually exactly 2. I might start with a floater or intermediate line, which fishes near the surface. And in my fly vest, in the back pocket, I always carry another reel. And I've got one here with a really fast sinking fly line. This is going to get you pretty deep pretty fast, particularly in a current. Let's say you're fishing and you're not catching any fish. Think maybe they're deeper. Although I often will switch fly lines when fishing. It takes a little while, right? It takes at least a couple minutes. It's time away from fishing, having the fly in the water. You might try something a little less drastic, at least initially. I always carry mini lead core sink tips. Now this right here is about 18 inches of a fast sinking line with loops on each end, so I can loop it on the end of my fly line before the leader. This will get you deeper. You can make these out of an old fast sinking line, just butcher it up. Or there are some companies like Portland that actually makes kits that you can make these out of. So you can get a little bit deeper. And sometimes that will get you fish. Another even easier way to get your fly a little deeper, get you a fish, switch flies. See what I got in the box. My fly box, one of them. So let's say I'm fishing this fly originally on a floater or intermediate and I'm not getting anything. I want to get a little deeper. Let's see what I got. You can't look in here. This is not super secret. It's just such a mess. A little embarrassed. Oh, look. Look, here we have a closer minnow. Notice it has big metal eyes. This is going to sink a little deeper. Maybe it'll sink another 6 inches, maybe a couple feet if I retrieve it slowly. That can make all the difference between catching fish and not catching fish. The most important thing, if you want to catch more stripers on the fly rod, is getting to the right depth. You got to get it deep enough to where the fish are feeding. Sometimes it's on top, but often it isn't. So, vary your fly depth. Lots of ways to do that we've covered. For a lot more tips on how to catch more stripers on the fly rod, click on the link below. I think it's below. Not on the web page right now. I'm actually hiding in my super secret underground hideout in Hampton, New Hampshire. Actually my office. About half an hour from a pretty productive springtime fishing hole. And I think I'm going to go check that out right now. So click on the link below. Tell me what you think. Thanks!